Welcome to our online virtual webinar. Francis and I are delighted to have you guys join and show up. And today the topic of our webinar is going to be how to generate multiple streams of passive income while still working. So a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. Please turn off all cell phones, remove all notifications, stay till the very end. We have a great offer for you for select individuals. If we do get cut off, just restart your computer and click on the link. This will be recorded, by the way. And please keep microphones on mute and turn your cameras off. I have to throw out a little bit of a disclaimer. These are all for educational purposes. Francis and I are delighted to be offering this value for you. We are not licensed financial, tax, legal advisors, and there's no guarantee of particular results or success. So, and you are responsible for your own actions. So let's do by a quick poll here. Where are you in your stages of your career? So it looks like 2/3 of you are attending 5 to 10 plus years out, and 1/3 of you are residents. So, and we decided this course is actually designed for the full-time physician, either in residency or early career, late career, those actually looking for a career transition, and even those that are part-time physicians looking for alternative sources or coming out of retirement looking for other revenue streams. So it's great that you guys are enrolled in taking action and getting situated and planning for the future. I'm gonna start another poll here, and that is, which areas of passive income are you guys interested in hearing more about today? And that could be real estate, equities, options, consulting, speaking, writing, wellness, or others. So it looks like, I'll give you a little bit more time. Looks like 1 or 2 people put expert witness, file review, disability. If you're not sure, that's fine. Just say you're not sure. See, real estate, consulting, a wellness. Okay, so we've actually got quite a number. It's actually half are interested in real estate. So I have a lot of experience in that. About 15% are consulting, as well as wellness, other niche areas, and then the others are very expert witness, things like that. So we do have a good mix. So we're going to talk about all of those different areas today. And let's start the last poll, which is how experienced and confident are you guys in your ability to create multiple streams of passive income? If you were to go out today, and would you be able to know what to do, or need help, or need further education and experience? So about 85% are novice and 15% are intermediate. So Francis and I are putting on this educational webinar, and at the end of it, we're going to talk about our special offer for you guys, and it's really targeted toward the novice individuals who really need someone to show them the ropes, and we offered a lot of bonuses and discounts so that it's it's not too much of a burden. And then for those who are intermediate, we have a particular place in our program where we specifically can work with you individually to further polish your goals and your strategies. All right, so it looks like this webinar is going to be quite beneficial for all of you guys. So let's go back. So what we're going to cover today is we're going to talk about the 8 major sources of passive income for the physicians, which are the most popular, and which ones should you get into. Francis is going to talk a lot about getting your mindset right, the psychology. I'll talk a little bit about how that incorporates into our overall coaching strategy and how you can implement that. We're going to talk about major pitfalls to look for during a transition from clinical medicine into non-clinical areas or niche specific areas, and some of the top action steps to set you apart. And then we'll show you some examples of clients that we've worked with that have been very successful. And what we're going to show you is how you can become a part of our 4-week multiple income streams mastermind program for the summer. It's for a month long. And then after that, we'll be around for 10-15 minutes for live Q&A chat, a lot of interaction, okay? I'm actually going to go into the actual mechanics about the different passive income streams. A little bit about me. I'm an entrepreneur, investor. I got trained in orthopedic surgery. I went to Baylor for medical school, was part of the MD PhD program, got my PhD from Rice University. As I stated, I matched into Rutgers in 2007 in orthopedics, but wasn't happy for a variety of reasons. I was more interested in business and entrepreneurship. So coming into 2008, I had the opportunity to pursue a career as a full-time real estate entrepreneur. So I took that leap of faith, and for the next 8 years, invested in single-family condominiums, eventually achieving FIRE status in 2016. So that meant that I would no longer need a job, or I would never need to work for money, and I was able to pursue and go out and pursue my dreams and passions. I took a year off before launching my consulting company in 2017. And so because of that leap of faith, I took a calculated risk, which paid off huge. And you'll find out later that it's not your income or your wealth that is the measure of riches. It's the amount of time and health and the relationships and the quality of life that's really what we're here on earth for. So I'm now an advisor for an AI-based early stage healthcare startup. I'm a TEDx speaker. I write for Canada MD, written 4 books for Amazon, have my own passive income online course. I'm a founder of a private Facebook group, mentor for a recently launched Clinicians Career Collaborative Initiative, and just launched my podcast for Physicians for Financial Freedom. So, after this webinar, whether you, sign up for our program or not, follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all of the major channels. And none of this would have been possible without the ability or the know-how to create multiple streams of passive income. So in 2008, it was unheard of for a physician to leave residency, in particular orthopedics. That's like one of the higher coveted specialties. But come 2020, now you have physicians going into different fields. They're going into alternative careers. A lot of Stanford grads are working for Silicon Valley instead of going into the traditional route. So you'll see that really the mindset is changing, and the culture and the climate of medicine is changing. So that's encouraging more alternative careers. So I want to start out with this slide. In the West, our self-worth, our self-esteem is equated with our incomes and our net worths. But in today's age, the new leverage is time. It's going to be time and freedom. So in the past, we live in a fantastic time to be alive today, despite all of the issues that are plaguing our society today. I've gone from seeing the technological explosion where there was no social media or anything, where you literally had to go into the library to watch VHSs, to the dial-up modem so that you could watch the videos online. So now you have an entirely streaming platform for all different types of education, entertainment, and things like that. But still, I believe the medical profession is rooted in this industrial age mentality where, we're all herded into these cubicles. We're told to follow orders. We're told not to stand out. We're just told to get good grades, take our exams, see patients. But that's not the way the world is going to work in the next 20 to 30 years. So we have to get a lot smarter with our mindset, with our thoughts, our beliefs, with our actions. We have to get smarter with how we think and do things, and not be succumb to this herd mentality. So I think in the next day and age, really those that are going to do well and flourish are the ones that are going to be creative, that are going to think outside the box, that are not going to be afraid to pursue change. And you'll see, you know, the ones that just stick to older, obsolete ideas, they're going to struggle. You'll see it with COVID-19, with nobody ever thinking a physician could be fired on the spot for, you know, doing his or her job. And now you have, you know, hospitals laying off and furloughing employees and workers. So this is not the first thing that's going to happen. It's going to get even worse and worse, because what you're seeing is the dying of the industrial age and really the incoming of just the new creative information technological age. And whenever you have a clash of ideas, that's when you have all of these manias, panics, and things like that. Okay, I'm going to go here's into the actual details. The common most niche areas of passive income that medical doctors or DOs can pursue. I'm going to briefly introduce you to the general process through which you can develop these. So the major categories, obviously, are real estate, and then there's equities, options, and then there's more of the creative ones: consulting, coaching, speaking, writing. And I think a lot of like the wellness and the niche specific are going to be very, very interesting and very lucrative. If you can get in there early, make your name, you can really dominate that space in that market. Okay, so in our summer multiple streams income mastermind, we're going to take each client, each of you, and go in depth in specific process, skills, and strategies. So like I mentioned before, whether you sign up or not, pay close attention, because these are the general processes you need to have in order to know how to diversify your income streams. So, you know, a lot of you are novice, some of you are intermediate. So the ones that are intermediate have better opportunities because you have more confidence. You're able to say, okay, if I were to step away from medicine, or if I were to lose my job the next day, I would know how to create those sources. And that's what we're trying to develop in our clients, the ability to say that no matter what happens, you're able to thrive and flourish and succeed in any environment. So a little bit about real estate. So real estate is very popular among physicians for a lot of reasons: income generation, wealth creation, asset protection, a lot of tax advantages, and there's a myriad of strategies. So there's not just the buy and hold, there's not the fix and flip. There's actually now new strategies, including real estate syndicates. There's a lot of different things where I partnered up with the doctors Asakura and Dr. Letizia Alto in their course. So they created an online course where they teach physicians how to invest in real estate. So there's so many different niches that you can do in it. So really, the idea of real estate being a hard asset, that's if you want to either fix and flip, or just buy and hold, or renovate, or do the Airbnb, or house hacking and things like that. But there are ways to get into real estate where in a passive sense as well, okay? Obviously, equities and options is a great way to generate income, either for long-term, or if you're profiting off of momentum and price swings. Again, I'm not advocating for any particular strategy. I really like the buy and hold strategy, the buying for value and looking for investment. But, you know, like I said, I know physicians and clients who have started their own businesses and have done very well. They've supplemented and replaced their clinical income using either equities and options or even real estate. And the thing to keep in mind here is that all of these areas, they allow you, the differentiating factor here is going to be time and leverage. So you're able to, whereas in a traditional clinician sense, you're not leveraging or scaling your time because you're one-on-one. But with any of these different avenues, you're at an advantage because you have leverage. You can leverage time, you can leverage people, assets, things that don't require you to be physically there and that cost you your hard-earned labor, okay? And what's going to really differentiate you is going to be how well you're able to focus and apply that knowledge, and you can scale that. The other thing I want you to realize is that consulting, coaching, speaking, writing, all of these take time. So the best thing for you to do right now is to discover your niche, which will help you, and to start doing it on the side in your free time instead of watching Netflix or scrolling through social media. And because once you reach a critical mass, that's when you can start monetizing these sorts of things. But you have to start early. You have to do it passionately. You have to do consistently for it to build up a critical mass. The thing with real estate, equities, and options is that you can start generating income right away, but you have to know the system, you have to know the mindsets, you have to need the processes and the beliefs in order to implement these systems. So you have to learn the systems as well. But the real estate, equities, and options are the best ways to start generating income if you know how to do it. Okay. We're going to show you all of the different pitfalls, all of the bread and butter skill sets needed to succeed. Another aspect of the program is mindsets. So Francis talked a lot about his training and background and a lot of psychology. What I want to just expand on that is that we live in the information age now. Now it's not about time and labor. It's more data, capital, ideas, knowledge, and information are the new currencies. That's going to be the asset. And what you execute upon, those who have the best ideas, the most innovative, the most creative ideas, and those that execute upon those ideas are going to be the ones that succeed in the future, 2020 and beyond. It's no longer going to be capital labor where you're trading your time for money. That's sort of the service industry is all becoming digitized. So that's where the field is going. So you can listen to all the podcasts you want. You can listen to all the YouTube channels, read all the books. But if you don't execute, you're going to be no different than the one who just sits at home and does nothing. So you have to take that knowledge and apply it and execute it. Dan Sullivan, in his recent book, talked about who, not how. So as physicians, we're trained to do everything ourselves, to figure out everything ourselves, to solve all the problems without asking for help. In the next 20, 30 years, those who are able to create teams and can solve problems are going to have a leg up on the physician that just goes about it on his own and does it himself. The other thing is Carol Dweck, in her book Mindset, talks a lot about the issues where those with a growth mentality, which you'll see today, those who advocate for learning, for constantly improving, constantly investing in themselves, constantly networking, those are going to be the ones that do well compared to those with the fixed mindset, which is either a black or white type of mindset. In the next slide, I'm going to talk about more of these types of things where the profession sort of ingrains some of these black and white mindsets. Some of those are empowering, some of them are disempowering. So we have to figure out and sort out which ones will get us ahead in the future. So here are the pitfalls that you want to avoid and some of the success steps that you want to take in order to succeed. So a lot of it, again, is ingrained in our culture. Going it alone, I'm going to do it by myself. We were all the straight A students. We got the best grades, teacher's pet, etc. But now, these days, it's going to be those who form teams that can leverage capital and labor that are going to do well. Again, not asking for help, not talking to anyone, that's a recipe for disaster in the next decade. Being afraid to fail. You're going to fail as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as an investor. In medicine, we're not allowed to fail. That's also a disempowering mindset, okay? Thinking that you're a failure if you transition out of clinical medicine. Like I said, clinical medicine is one avenue for generating income stream. That's predominantly the one that's been the most touted for over the past 40, 50 years. But you'll see, again, there's so many different niches and different ways of generating income in the information age, okay? I'm going to repeat it. Networking is the most important skill that you must have and that you need to develop and hone in order to succeed in whether you're practicing medicine or not. Your net worth is your network, okay? And then I find it interesting that physicians, they'll spend $300,000, $400,000 on their education, but they're, they'll balk and they'll be resistant to spending $100 or $200 on coaching or program. So the thing is, you want to get into something where you're held accountable, where somebody is like showing you, where you have an experienced professional showing you the way because they've been there. Okay, you wouldn't go to an internist to get your gallbladder removed, and you wouldn't go to your surgeon to get counseling on diabetes. So you need to go to someone who's specialized, who has personalized, specific knowledge and experience that can show you. And so that's what we're here for you today. So this is the 3-step process that I was talking about earlier. So what we do is, regardless if you join the mastermind, these are the 3 steps broken down component by component. But in our mastermind, we go into more depth and more personalized so that you can really solidify it. So it starts with an assessment, especially your mindsets and your beliefs and your perspectives. We have to shatter all of those old ones and we have to implement new ones. Once you're able to implement those new concepts and beliefs, then we can start implementing the knowledge and the information and teach you so that you can transform. And then we spend the rest of the month solidifying it with networks, with private Facebook groups, with accountability groups, with access to me and Francis. So this is our offer, the one we're gearing up for. This is while we're gearing up for your live Q&A, go ahead and type all of your questions within the live chat. We'll get those compiled, and the types of questions, who it's directed, if you're either directed towards Francis or myself, but we'll bring up this mastermind. So this is a summer mastermind that we're planning. It's going to start in August or September. We're still filling out the program, and we have a limited number of seats. So you guys have the first dibs at it for showing up on tonight. And plus there's the bonus where if you sign up today within 24 hours, you get a discounted price. But it's going to be talking about how to take the student from initial to, so that we can work with you for that entire week. So you have a good, solid, basic skill set and knowledge so that if you can work and develop those different streams of income. So the first part is assessment. So that's going to be, again, mindset is the #1 key. In Dan Sullivan's book, he said, in today's age, a career transition is not lack of skill sets. 80% is lack of mindset. So we work with you on your limiting beliefs, your sticking points, and we replace them with empowering mindsets. You're going to get live education with myself and Dr. Yu, as well as you'll have the opportunity for private one-on-one coaching consultation. So this portion of the program is valued at $800. It's for the entire month, by the way, okay? The second part is transformation. So you're going to take it, we're going to transform you. So that's going to be the educational weekly webinars. That's going to be your bi-weekly live Q&A in addition to the webinars. So you're going to get 4 webinars plus 2 Q&A. So that's going to be 6. We're going to have assignments. You're going to have a private Facebook mastermind group. And like I said, the most important thing with this group is that you can network and share ideas and information. And again, you have access to myself and Dr. Yu. So this is a $1,000 value. On top of that, if you sign up, you get bonuses from myself and Francis. So you're going to get free access to my online course, which is worth $272 value, and it's financial freedom through passive income. And in addition, I send all of my clients personal autographed copies of my Financial Freedom book series. And you also get free 15-minute discovery private coaching call at $60. With Francis, you're going to get access to his life coaching online course. It's called GPS for Life at $200 value. He normally charges $2,000, by the way. You also get his recently published book, Physician Freedom, Living Your Authentic Physician Life. And plus, you'll get access to a free discovery private coaching call. So all of these bonuses total $687, and the entire package is $2,500. But you're only going to get it for $250 today. After tomorrow, the price goes up to $300. So, go ahead. These are some of the testimonials from clients. Recently, Dr. Reddy, I've worked with Dr. Charmaine Gregory, Maisha Claiborne. They've all recommended me. These are Dr. Yu's testimonials through his clients as well. So, we take our jobs very seriously. We care about the clients. We want the clients to learn and improve. And we're trying to spread the message that there's all different sources and streams of income. So go ahead. We'll spend the last 9 minutes with live Q&A. Go ahead and type up your questions, and we'll be happy to answer your questions.
Or if you another thing you can type in is, what is it that you think you need help with? Is it getting started, or getting education, or knowing what's possible? Any kind of question is okay.
And thanks so much for everybody that's purchased the program. And it can be even simple questions is fine. It's nobody's judging you. We're all here in an open open environment. Okay, so the first question is where to get started as an incoming intern resident. That's a great question. So one is books. So it's great that you came onto this program, and it looks like you're thinking outside the box, taking action. So as an intern, you should be reading, in addition to your medical education, start reading your financial education. So one book that is probably you could read it in a day is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So read that one. That'll get you situated with just the idea of employee versus self-employed versus business owner versus investor. After that, he's got a lot of books in the series, but definitely that's the book that I would start out with, especially in terms of finances. The other book I recommend you to read is Multiple Streams of Income. So that's going to talk to you about diversifying income streams in case you lose your clinical income or you want to change and things like that. So diversifying income streams today is like buying insurance. So in the past, you could depend and rely on one job or one income stream and one source, but today you can't really do that because everything is changing and everything is very transient. So the average career for someone back in the 30, 40 years ago could be 40, 50 years. Now these days you have 1-2 year careers. So that's how fast things are changing. So get that book, multiple streams of income. Other than that, you can always contact me. I read over 200 books a year.
I would definitely agree with Christopher. Is understanding the field, as it were, and it helps you figure out which avenues you want to go down. And like Christopher said, the options and the stock market is a common place. It's where I started. I'm sure a lot of physicians started as well. But it's if you have the field, which Kiyosaki and those people like that talk about, that helps a lot. So definitely start there. I would agree. I've read a lot of that books in that series as well.
So here's another, let's see here. Here's another question. How much should you charge per hour as a consultant for startup companies? And that's a great question. So I'll give you a personal touch. Is my consulting rate is 300 to 400 per hour, but that's after being in the field for 3 years. So the beauty of developing streams of income as a consultant is that you can charge pretty much whatever you're worth. So if the hospital thinks you're worth 100 per hour as a physician, you're stuck by that unless you get promoted or move the ranks and things like that. But as a solopreneur, entrepreneur, self-employed, your salary cap is not limited. It's only limited by the value that you bring to the market and how much the market is willing to pay you. So I know, like, for example, some of the top consultants, they have their own firms. They're making 600, 700 per hour, some even 1,000 per hour. So if your brand and your value is big enough that people are want you, then you can charge that much. But for like starting out, for example, like when I went out in 2017, my starting rate was anywhere between 120 to 150 per hour, and that was enough to generate six figures, mid six figures in that first year. So, but like I said, you have to develop that brand and that reputation.
I think one quick thing I would add: I don't do the consulting Christopher does, but let's say you help a startup company make or save like $1,000, right? If charging them $50 per hour doesn't really match up with the value you brought to the company. So that's another way to look at it. How much value are you bringing, and are you showing what you're worth, right?
Yeah. The other question is, what is typical compensation for a CMO for a startup? What's a reasonable mix of equity and salary? Also, good question. I'm not a CMO, but I know colleagues and friends that are CMOs. For startup, CMO can usually be like 300, 400. I think if you're there long enough, probably within 500K per year. Again, it all depends on the type of company. If it's like a small scale, medium scale, large, for example, like a large company, you're gonna get paid more. In terms of reasonable mix of equity and salary, again, I can't comment on that because I don't really have experience with that. And it would also depend on the company and the institution that you're working for.
There was a question from a little bit earlier. How do I break into a network to get into consulting with consultancy firms? I only know one physician that works for a consultancy firm. Christopher, do you have any ideas about that?
Yeah, I think good. I think so. Like networking is going to be one of our topics for our summer mastermind. So we're going to have devoted a whole session onto networking, how to build your profile, how to get leads, how to get clients, and how to pitch yourself. Because it's all about, in consulting, you're selling yourself, your experience, your brand, your services. So we're going to have a whole topic on that. But like I said, in prior webinars, in order to break into a network, you have to, it's almost like, it's like you have to think of it in terms of your, who is the decision maker, how you get your foot in the door, who you know, who your contacts, and it's all about providing value. And once you're able to provide value, then people will allow you into their network. So networking is one of the key skill sets that you have to have, and we're going to devote, a significant portion of the mastermind to networking. Okay. Well, our time is up. We really enjoyed having you guys on the webinar. We're going to have this replay for you. The offer will still stand. If you guys are interested, we're going to fill out the remaining spots. So thanks everybody who did sign up, and keep in touch with us. Follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and hope to see you at future webinars again. I'm gonna have a future webinar about TEDx speaking, about LinkedIn, about digital networking, and also Airbnb as well. Okay, so thanks so much, and you guys enjoy the rest of your day.